With all the big calls on all the big races, welcome back to What a Shout during the Royal Week. Royal Ascot Week is absolutely underway. We passed the half-time whistle. Stradivarius didn't make it 4 in the Gold Cup. We'll find out what the panellists make of that. Who is joining us? Well, myself, Dave Orton, is joined with our sponsors, Bet365. Paul Kealy, as ever, back in the studio. Keels, it's been a fair week.
Yeah, it's not been a bad week. Nice bag a couple of winners. A couple yesterday. Porto was very good. See it come weaving through from the back. And I started the day well. I started the first day well with the Coventry first and third. So yeah, I'm buzzing.
Oh, you are buzzing, absolutely. And as our resident weatherman, it's all changed, right?
Oh, absolutely all changed. I mean, I actually backed a few horses anti-post for Saturday, and I was thinking, well, this will be like, just on the soft side of good, if that, based on the forecast. And then, of course, they got next to none of the rain that was forecast on Wednesday, and they seem like they're getting twice as much as the worst forecast today.
I know.
So they've already had 20 mil. It's soft ground. It's going to get softer throughout the day, and it's going to stay sticky, I'd have thought, for Saturday as well.
As ever, we're foaming this Friday morning in the capitals. At 18 mil they had till 6:30 a.m. It's gone up to 90. It's gone up to 20. It's rising all along. Pat Cooney, where are you from our sponsors, Bet365?
Yes, I'm back up in Stoke-on-Trent, but I'm in the spirit of things. I've taken the expensive shoes off. I've got the Wellingtons and the Macintosh on this afternoon.
There we go. Pat will be giving us all the news and views, talking about the week so far and what's hot today and tomorrow, today being Friday as well. Right, shall we go across the Irish Sea? Thanks to the power of Skype. Loving that about this pandemic. That's the one thing that's born out of this. We can reach across. He's back. It's about time too. David Jennings.
Morning, Dave. Good to be back.
Happy days, Dave. Great to have you on. It seems a long time since the Upping the Ante was on and Cheltenham Festival. We've not seen enough of you, man. How's the week gone?
It's been okay, actually. It's been okay. There's been a few kind of things that have thwarted a disaster, which is good. So Juan Alcano earlier on in the week, and like Keel's Proto yesterday. So just getting by, just about in front.
You mentioned Juan Elcano when we were coming in. I said to Kills, Juan Elcano, has he picked that one out? Your answer was?
Slavish devotion sometimes works, doesn't
it? My worst trait sometimes can work to my advantage. Forgiveness is without doubt my worst trait. People say it's a good trait. It's not. In racing, it's the worst trait you can have. But occasionally, very occasionally, it can work to your advantage. And Juan Alcano, after all these years, came to my rescue.
There you go. A forgiving nature from DJ. Let's see if he's going to be like that for the rest of the show. What have we got coming up for you then out there? We'll be taking a look back at what has happened so far during the Royal Week, getting the highlights from the chaps so far, horses that might be going elsewhere, what the future plans, etc. We'll be giving you 5 big race previews before the all-important weekend winners. Right then, time for your racing clues, we'll call it, won't we? But we've had 3 days so far at Royal Ascot. Let's start with the Tuesday. DJ, I'll come to you. Highlight of the Tuesday.
Oh, is that man, Mr. Bulger, Poetic Flair. Look, we thought these 3-year-old milers, well, I certainly did anyway, were all much of a muchness. I thought there was nothing between them. I was expecting a really tight finish. Thought potentially maybe Lucky Vega might come out on top, but Poetic Flair just absolutely blew them asunder. And it was just that ability to travel so strongly off that incredible pace. And then the quicken at the 2-pole, like it's been some incredible season for Tim Bulger. But that in particular, I thought, to me, that was the performance of the week.
Yeah, I mean, well, so far, it's hard to argue with that, isn't it? I think on that lightning fast ground, the fact that Kevin Manning took a pole, the amazing Kevin Manning banging it again. And it's been the 50 club this year, isn't it? But Mr. Bulger's comments in the morning in the paper, we've seen a couple of them this week. How much do you read into trainers' comments? But he said, I've never had a horse this hardy. He's improving for all the running, and you're thinking to yourself, well, he wasn't in the Derby, he was in the Commonwealth Cup. Are they striking while the iron was hot? But seemingly not a bit of it.
No, he just seems to be an extremely tough horse, doesn't he? I mean, I had a little saver on him because I thought, well, he probably is the right favourite, but I didn't expect him to blow them away. But that was a massive performance. I mean, we saw Palace Pearl earlier in the day, and he was quite workmanlike by comparison.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were some prices going up afterwards, and it was like Evans Palace Pier 4-1 Poetic Flair for the Sussex. I mean, I would be Evans each of 2 when they run.
Well, on Racing Post ratings, we gave Poetic Flare 1-2-4, Palace Pier 1-2-3. Was Palace Pier really at his best? He didn't have to be at his best.
I don't suppose he had to be at his best, and he can look workmanlike at times, and he might prefer a little bit more cut in the ground than he had that day. But at the end of the day, I mean, if it comes up faster at Goodwood and they send Poetic Flare there, then who would you rather be on at those prices?
Well,
it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
The 3-year-olds. It could be some race if St Mark's Basilica turns up as well. Pat, okay then. Palace Pier took out the opening race, as many expected. Poetic Flare then rocks up. What did you make of the Sussex Stakes coming up at Goodwood?
Well, I think if it's on that ground and what you saw on the opening day, I would have to be with Poetic Flare. I mean, he clocked a quick time. Everything was spot on about the horse. And the form book will tell you he's actually getting better with every run. With Palace Pier, it was a lukewarm performance, wasn't it? It reminds me of Big Bucks, you know when he used to rock up in the World Hurdle all the time and win. He always used to hit a flat spot at some point in the race. If he hits a flat spot against Poetic Flare, he won't be catching him.
Well, it was great to see Oxted as well, wasn't it? Taking out the King's Stand, of course. That was a great result for Roger Till and Kieran Fallon. OK, let's move on to the Wednesday. DJ, Love. They came for Armoury, didn't they? What I think we can say was the second string.
Yeah, I think it was a case of Love, just her class, just showing in kind of the last 2 furlongs. I don't think, obviously, first start of the season wasn't ideal making the running, but she gritted her teeth and she just got down and dirty and she just did it. And you were kind of going, you weren't blown away. It wasn't like Poetic Flare or even Subjectivist. It was more Giant's Causeway-esque. And you kind of say to yourself, well, she was so flamboyant last year when she was winning the Oaks by such a wide margin and when she was brilliant in the Guineas. And now you say to yourself, she's got this to her bow as well, where she can actually grind out results when things go against her. And I just love everything about her. It's fun.
Yeah, she looked beaten kills, didn't she? She beat a Breeders' Cup winner. I thought the form looked pretty strong, really.
She's probably beaten better horses, a couple of better horses than she beat last year anyway. And I think it was a perfectly good return. Okay, I mean, you got the, one more got the fractions absolutely bang right, but I think the runner-up's pretty decent as well. And obviously, I wouldn't hold anything against Armoury. He's still got a big prize in him, I think, because he looked there. I mean, you turned it in a straight thing. Hang on a minute, he's gonna just whiz past him, didn't you? You thought he was going so well. But, the race had been controlled from the front, so they were quickening up ahead of him as well. So I wouldn't hold too much about him. It will have a better run race for him at some point.
You just thought, on paper, looking at it, there was never a better chance for Armoury to get his Group 1 than the small field tactical one.
I think he'll get one, though. I do think he'll get one.
OK, all right. Yeah, he's also quite light, I must admit. I don't think he'll be going back down under, will he? Pat, OK, let's come to you. Love, where does she go next? Quotes flying all over the place.
Well, we'll leave that to Aidan, but I thought it was a terrific performance, really. If we were going to get a beat, it was going to be first time out, wasn't it? First run against the boys, first run over 10 furlongs. But she controlled the race. She's very, very good. And you look at the Arc de Triomphe betting, she's 5-1 joint favourite with Snowfall. And, Snowfall's got to come out and repeat that recent Epsom win again just to make sure she really is that good. But you look at Love, she may have won the Arc last year. I'd like to see her be busy. But she's, that was her first run this year. I suppose she's the best around. I'm looking at the Arc betting, Tanawa, St Mark's Basilica, Mishrif, Adea. They're not wow horses by any means, but Love is a wow horse, and I can see her going the rest of the season unbeaten wherever she turns up.
It is brilliant, isn't it? Because a lot of people sort of slagging this flat season already, Dave, weren't they? It's fair to say it has ignited, isn't it now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. No, this week has been fantastic. It always is. This week is always, top of the pops. It's been terrific. And, today is obviously a very strong card as well. The Diamond Jubilee tomorrow is probably a little bit disappointing. But, this week has been superb.
Yeah, OK. What about the Wednesday as well? Kamari, what do you make of him? I was impressed. That was my one big land of the week so far, so I'm of the mood with him. But Wordsworth, I thought, ran particularly well as well.
Yeah, they both ran well. They're decent horses. I mean, is it Kamari or Gelding?
He is a Gelding. No, St Ledger.
He can't go Ledger. I thought, there was that funny race won by Indigo
Girl?
Indigo Girl for
Is it
Frankie
Indigo Girl? It's not
Dettori.
Indigo
You know,
Girl, is
it just makes you wonder what the jockeys are on sometimes.
Shively Park in the Duke of Cambridge.
Yeah, that's it. Because
The Angel.
Indie Angel,
that's
thank
the
you,
one.
DJ.
Indie Angel, Indigo something.
Yeah, I know,
I
I've fallen into that trap.
I'm getting old. You got to remember that.
Stood on the rake is what we had yesterday.
Exactly,
yeah.
But you wonder what the jockeys are at sometimes, don't you? Because they come out of the stalls and all of them went straight down the centre, and they just allowed Frankie to pull out wide and come near the rail. And all the evidence suggests that the centre was the last place to be. And since that race, every straight track race has now been 2 races for the price of 1, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So, why didn't they realise before then? Why didn't they all come together one side or other? Why didn't anybody try the far side until then?
It was a bugbear. And talking of standing on rates.
Hold on a second, right? I see your point, Keels, and everybody on Twitter was saying the same thing. But like, you would say yesterday in the Norfolk, the Perfect Power came on the exact part of the track, but you and everybody else was saying was ridiculous, coming down the middle of the track basically on the outside of the inside group. And Perfect Power got up and won. So I don't know.
No, that wasn't the middle of the track though, Dave. You can still win. You don't have to be bang on the rail, but you just can't be straight down the centre. I mean, that's the whole point.
Perfect Power was pretty close to the centre now.
No, I disagree. I'll have to go and watch that again.
Well, people are pressing pause at the minute and go, right, I'm going to go to my members section and watch that replay and find out. Let us know. Do you think it was in the centre or not? Can you win down the centre? That's the question. We will get to that in our previews because does the rain change everything? Let's go to Thursday, though. Dave, again, I'll come to you. Stradivarius, much will continue to be said about that ride from Frankie Dettori. But we have to say, subjectivist, how impressive was he?
Yeah, I thought Stradivarius should have been second, probably beaten 3 lengths, I would say, is probably the way I view the race. I thought the winner bolted up. And the key thing was, like, Princess Zoe was probably within, 3 lengths of Subjectivist, maybe 100 yards from the line, and he was going away again at the line. And I don't think no matter what happened, I don't think Stradivarius would have won. But just with a horse like that, like Frankie is obviously one of the best we'll ever see, if not the best. You just wonder, when you're riding the best horse in the race, yes, it's the hold-up horse, but when you think going into the race, you're riding a horse that has won the race for the last 3 years in a row, who is, odds-on favourite, and you're riding the horse for luck, I don't know, it just doesn't rest that easily with me. Like, you're hoping that the pace setters don't fall straight back on your lap. You're hoping to be carried into the race. You're just taking a lot of risks with a horse who we thought, and I think everybody thought was the best horse in the race. And obviously it backfired. It's ridiculous. I'm whatever, probably 8 stone heavier than Frankie, and I've never ridden a horse in my life. But I just doesn't rest easy with me that a horse of that class can be ridden for luck.
Yeah, I think that's a fair summary, isn't it?
I totally agree. I mean, the horse has got him out of trouble before, because he's been ridden like that all his life.
Goodwood Cup last year.
He's probably no longer quite good enough to do that if there's a good stayer around. And
he did flatten out Kills, didn't he, up the home straight?
He did, yeah. I mean, I said I don't think Frankie was thinking about the place spot in the last 50 yards because, you know what I mean, it wasn't so urgent. But the race had gone.
Yeah.
And, we've got him out of trouble before, but he's probably, he's 7 now. He's probably not quite as good as he was. He's still a very good stayer. But Subjectivist, as soon as Subjectivist kicked going into the bend, that was it. He was over.
Great moment for Joe Fanning, of course, wasn't it?
Yeah, great, mate. He's been a fantastic jockey, for a long while, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And again, one, riding all those Mark Johnson horses, a great clock. You know what I mean? You're going from the front, being in the right place, because a lot of their horses, they're ridden prominently, aren't they? So you just get used to knowing what pace you've got to go. Got it bang on, won easily. Nobody's, at the end of the day, nobody backed Stradivarius each way. Everybody moaning at Frankie, he wouldn't have won.
Last word on this before I go to Pat. Will Subjectivist now be the new kid on the block? Goodwood Cup. They're going to go abroad with him as well, aren't they?
Yeah, he could be, but you got to remember, it's rare to get a 3-time winner. It's rare to get a 4-time winner. So much has got to go right throughout their careers. They've got to hold their form all the time. They've got to remain that good. Right? So yes, he could be. But let's not take it for granted because that what we've seen over the last few years doesn't happen that long in racing history, does it? It doesn't happen that often.
No, Trueshan might still have something to say about that, of course. Slightly controversial decision not to run. Great to see Princess Zoe back as well. She is back, isn't she, as DJ mentioned there. Pat, let's come to you, because one hot pot did land yesterday. Mahafeth. They pulled him out of the derby. He somehow got his ground yesterday.
Yeah, and how fortunate are they, given the weather that we've got? Yeah, he won well, didn't he? You know, when I was thinking about Mahafa, one of the reasons why he didn't run in the Derby was principally the ground. But you just sense at the back of William Haggas's mind, he wasn't sure about 12 furlongs at this stage of his career for this fella. And this was 10 furlongs yesterday. He looks a real 10 furlong fast ground horse to me. So he's going to have plenty of Group 1 opportunities. Again, the Bear Form, Roman Empire, Secret Protector, a few of the other market rivals didn't run particularly well. But he just keeps winning, doesn't he, this horse? I don't really know how good he is. I'm looking forward to finding out. But I think he is fast ground, 10 furlong dependent. But he's in very capable hands. I'm not yet ready to crown him the best around just at the moment, though.
No, fair enough. Okay, all right. That's a look at the racing highlights so far. You won't find that anywhere else on a Friday this week, that's for sure. Really enjoyed it, but there are still 2 days coming up. 3:40. Should we go to some Group 1s? It's the Commonwealth Cup. For a lot of people, one of the races of the entire week. Hot, hot, hot. Has the rain changed opinion? We'll find out from DJ and Kills after Pat gives us a morning update.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to get a new favourite now, and that's Sousa, the French flying French filly, easy for me to say. And all her wins have been on soft ground, so what you see is what you get. They are Group 3 wins. She's been impressive. Not sure what she's beaten, but she's just about favourite to be favourite now, having overtaken Campanelle. It's been a tough week for Wesley Ward fans, I think. And ordinarily when the rain comes, you think, oh, we'll oppose these Wesley Ward fillies and flying machines, but she actually has got a bit of form on and with ease in the ground, so she's still there with her chance. I think they're short enough at the top of the market, though. Throw in Dragon Symbol as well. He might not find this ground ideal. I'm attracted to the handicap form here of Jumbie of Eve Johnson-Houghton. She's already had a winner at the meeting. Red hot handicap form. It's a handicap to a Group 1. I get all that. But when Jumbie won at Newmarket last time out, he beat Perotta. Well, he won yesterday at Royal Ascot. And then behind him, there was First Folio, who won a real hot-looking sprint handicap the other day. So this is a high level of handicap form. Yeah, he's got bits to find, maybe. Of course, I see that. But I'm going with this as a real progressive type. I think he can make the step up in grade. He hasn't run in a Group 1 race. I'm sure he'll give a good account of himself. He appeals to me as a value alternative to the top of the market, where we know how good the top ones are. We don't know yet how good Jumbie is.
Okay, all right, thank you, Pat. I'll get this out of the way. Big call about a month ago. I said, did anyone see that French filly win? And it was Sousa, of course, in George Strawberry's colours. Unusual for George and the operation to buy a horse in training. They did this, and you couldn't have made up a better scenario. The one worry she would have had coming here is if it was yesterday, with it beating down on the ground. Yeah, everything's gone right. I think this is Vive la France. I'm getting it.
It's funny. I think I wrote in a column today. She needed the rain on Wednesday that didn't materialise, but then they got twice as much as was expected today, and it's gone perfect for her. You got to fear her. I don't know how strong the form is, but she's been doing it very easily. I still, I certainly don't think we've seen how good Dragon Symbol is yet.
Are you? Yeah, but Kills. This, in contrast to Sousa, this is not what you wanted for him, right?
Say it's not what you wanted. And I did say it's not what we wanted, but it was heavy at Haydock. I mean, it was, I was talking to Tom Siegel last night, and he said, the going stick was lower than it was for the Tommy Will. Like, you know what I mean? And he still nearly won.
But this is hotter than the Sandy Lane.
Of course it's hotter than this. Of course it's hotter than the Sandy Lane, but he still nearly won, and he was racing on his own. And it ain't going to be as deep as it was at Haydock. So, he's obviously a versatile horse, put it that way. I still think he's a massive player. I've added a case of you to my portfolio, though. Yeah. Ado McGuinness must have been doing a rain dance last night, and it's worked out pretty well because this one's won, the last 3 times he's run on really soft ground, I think. So, obviously needs to step up a little bit, but he's going to stay the trip really well in the ground, and I think will run well.
I thought you were going to say Jumbie, I thought you were going to.
I'm a fan of Jumbie too, as well. It's a big jump, and it's just a case of, handicap form. It's very good handicap form, because Perotta has won twice since there, including the Britannia, but the price suggests he's got a bit better than handicap form, and he hasn't yet, has he? He's got to do it.
Okay, DJ, complete the quintet, of course, of tips.
Yeah, if all the horses were the same price, Sousa, I'm with you, Dave. I think she's really good, but I backed the horse at 66 to 1 yesterday, thinking this was a ridiculous price. The outsider of the entire field was Lipizzaner. Now, Lipizzaner has been hugely disappointing, but if you take out Lipizzaner's last run, where he started favourite to beat A Case of You at Naas, he was disappointing. But if you take out that last run, I think you're talking about 20s rather than 66s. Like, go back through this horse's back form. Last season was beaten half a length by Poetic Flare in an Ace Maiden on soft to heavy ground. Next time out was beaten half a length by Lucky Vega at Naas. Then finished fourth in the Norfolk. Then he won at Navan, and later on in the season on heavy ground, he won a listed race at Doncaster, where he seemed to cope with the ground perfectly well. He went on to the Breeders' Cup and finished fourth in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Sprint. And he has been disappointing this season, but they're putting blinkers on. I think he's crying out for a big field and blinkers. And he gets both of those here. He's obviously tricky. He obviously works very well. It's very, very strange for Aidan O'Brien to have one runner in the Commonwealth Cup. And I just think 66 to 1, like, the chances are, what price he on for him not to win? 1 to 100. He probably won't win. But 66 to 1 was an insult to this horse. He should cope with the ground, given he's won on heavy ground. And to me, like, a case of you is a sixth of the price of Lipizzaner. I don't think there's as much between them as that. I think a case of you has got a cracking chance. 66 to 1 Lipizzaner, I think that's huge.
A lot of people, myself included, would have curled up on hearing the name Lipizzaner. How many people have jumped off that cliff? I was about to call you Dave Bungee Jennings, as you obviously keep bouncing back. But you got it right with Juan Elcano. And the key, could it just be to Lipizzaner? 60-61, the blinkers. 4:20, another Group 1 for you. The fillies' time to shine. It is the Coronation. Classic form all over the place. We've got the English guineas, we've got the Irish guineas, we've got form in the French guineas, well, German guineas indeed. Pat Cooney, where's the money gone so far on this Friday morning?
Well, as things stand at the moment, Mother Earth, who I think is the most likely winner of the race, she's just about clinging on to favouritism. I thought it was a likeable run in the French guineas last time on very testing ground. But there is a mover in the race, and it's November. The German filly, she, as you touched on there, she won the German 1,000 guineas. And would you believe, on official rating, she is the highest rated filly in this race. So she's a sexy pick for this race. A lot of people are landing on her. She's got form on the ground, and German horses do well over here. I think we had, what was it? The filly that won the King George a few years ago. German horses are always, they always have that sort of mystique about them. This one certainly got it. November is the mover. I think Mother Earth is still the one to beat. But if you like your German horses, then this filly's very, very popular in the market, November.
OK, DJ, let's come to you. I'm pretty sure this is going to go to Ireland. You'll be delighted to hear. But not Mother Earth for me. Pretty Gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, I'm Pretty Gorgeous. Yeah, I'm Pretty Gorgeous' biggest fan, I'd say. Just in the guineas at the car, the vibes had obviously been quite weak. Obviously missed the English guineas at Newmarket, Scope 30. And I'd say it's just taken her a little bit of time just to come to herself. And she was drawn 14 of 14 in the Irish guineas. And she was always out on the wing. Shane Cross just couldn't get her into a nice rhythm behind horses. And yeah, she only finished 7th, but I thought she was value for finishing a little bit closer. I upgraded that effort a little bit. You know, she won the Fillies Mile on soft ground at Newmarket. Her best performance, I thought, probably visually, last year was in the debutant stakes at the Curragh. That was on soft ground and it was proper soft. And I just think she comes in here with that run in the Irish Guineas, with a nicer preparation, obviously, than she did going into the Curragh. She has the form on soft ground. And to me, at the start of the season, she was the 3-year-old filly that was going to take the Mile division by storm. So I certainly wouldn't be writing her off after that effort at the Curragh. And I think she'll go off favourite, and I think she'll win.
Ooh, think she'll go off favourite. Love it, DJ. I need not make the case no more. Joseph O'Brien, after a slow start to the week, is getting closer to that first winner as well. Keels now. This is June, man, not the month of November, but you're seeing the winter vibes and you're all over this.
Yeah, I was all over it. I mean, she was twice the price just a day ago, basically. But she's got to have a cracking chance now. The one I do fear is Pretty Gorgeous because she's only had the one go and she looked like she was the best of the fillies last year. I don't think the rest are all that. And that's the thing, I've got a bit of a down on the classic fillies this year, apart from Snowfall, really. I don't think his form is anything special at all. And then this November comes out, and bear in mind she was an outsider in the German Guineas, but she can't have gone slow because they were stretched out a long way from home. And she just kept going. And the ground was easy there. She won by 7.5 lengths. And she got an official rating of 115 for that, which puts her £3 the best horse in the race. And she was 16 to 1 at one point. And she's got trap 1. She'll lead. She's got the ground she wants. Her best run as a 2-year-old was on soft ground, and it was good. And it was good to soft there. She ran a really fast time in Germany as well. So I think she has to be a major player. And as Pat said, we have previous with German horses coming over. Dame Dream won the King George for Peter Shergan, who trains in November. And a few years ago, Energizer was in the Tercentenary Stakes. Came over to the UK. Was officially the best horse in the race. It was 4 times the price of some horses rated a stone below him in the morning. And absolutely gagged up at 15-2, having been 16 in the morning. I'm hoping history repeats itself. I think she does have a massive chance. She's a big fly in the ointment for Pretty Gorgeous fans, that's for sure.
There you are then.
Dave, just one thing I meant to say, which is very important for Pretty Gorgeous fans. Joseph O'Brien's her team are in phenomenal form at the minute. I know, obviously, he hit the crossbar with Liffey River, but just to put it in perspective, in the last fortnight in Ireland, he's had 15 winners and 16 seconds. So 31 of his horses in the last fortnight have finished in the first 2. And I think that tells you all you need to know about Pretty Gorgeous.
Happy days, DJ. Glad you got that one in. Let's hope we're all looking gorgeous after the Coronation Stakes. If you'd like to sign up to our sponsors Bet365 during this Royal Week, there's a referral code out there. It's typing in SHOUT365 on entering, minimum £5 deposit for up to 100 bet credits. Terms and conditions, they apply. Let's move to the Saturday, shall we? What a day we have ahead, bringing the curtain down on the first of the big race previews. 3 of them. It's the 305, it's the Jersey Stakes. Everyone loves the Jersey Stakes because they've got a project horse usually in it. Before we find out from the panel what that might be, Pat Cooney, this looks wide open.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and it's a fun race, this, isn't it? We all try and find the 7 furlong specialist, and invariably it's a horse dropping down a furlong than one moving up. I think that tends to have a chance here. As things stand at the moment, Naval Crown, Charlie Appleby just about favourite at the moment. Creative Force, stablemate second in. William Buick's on Naval Crown. Does he get the choice? I suppose he does, but it would be a tricky one. There's not much between them all on official ratings. Naval Crown appeals in many ways. He was 4th in the Guineas to Poetic Flare. How good does that form look like? He ran quite free that day. You could see him and the connection stinking after the Guineas. We'll go to the Jersey Stakes, dropping back a furlong. That's why he'd be my pick, and he's top of the market. But you can make a plausible case out for a few of these. Tactical is a possible maybe. He was one that dropped down to 6 last time and found that too sharp. He now goes back up to 7. But we're trying to find the 7 furlong specialist here, aren't we? And that might be Naval Crown, but it's a tough race, this one.
I didn't like the market leaders in here, but before I get to my pick and kills, memories of 12 months ago, Dave, Tactical, where you smashed that one out the park. Can he win this?
I think he's got a chance. Yeah, I do. I think he is, like trip-wise, I think 7 is ideal. I know he won the Windsor Castle last year over 5, but I thought last time with Newbury, he just lacked that kind of tactical pace at the most important time of the race. And he was disappointing last time, he certainly was. But I don't know. I thought he had the jersey written all over him this season. Whether he's good enough, I hope he is. Like the performance in that free handicap at Newmarket, I was quite impressed. I thought like he did well to get himself out of a hole there. Got up, showed a good attitude. Naval Crown was 2nd, Ontario was 3rd. I thought it was a decent enough renewal of the race. It's absolutely wide open. Will he cope with the ground? He should be okay. Like he was obviously very disappointing in the Dewhurst, but it was cutting ground. I think it was put to soft, but it was on the soft side certainly when he won the July Stakes at Newmarket. At a double figure price, I won't be backing him, but I would just about favour.
There we are. Okay, so tricky race for Dave. I found one here, and I'm hoping it echoes memory of 12 months ago as well. I said to you in the office this morning when we came in, I think I found one. He wants this ground. It's Nando Parado, who remembers 150 to 1 when he took out the Coventry, his only visit to Ascot. We know he loves the track. He didn't get home in the Heron Stakes last time. That was at Sandown in the listed race. It looked a hot race. That form hasn't worked out too well, admittedly, this week. But we can get a big price about this chap. It's not been the week that Clive Cox would have wanted so far. I think his luck and Adam Kirby, the Derby winning jockey, will change.
You found the wrong one.
Nice and succinct. I was waiting for that.
I think there's a major rick here. Everyone's forgotten about the class horse in the race. That's New Mandate, who's a massive price. Such a good horse last year, hardy little horse. There's no reason for him to come out early this season because he's a gelding. He can't run any Guineas or whatever. He won the Royal Lodge last year, his third win on the row. Had some good horses behind him there. He raced keenly over the mile early on. And he won with a fair bit in hand. He's got a penalty. He's got a Group 2 penalty, obviously, but penalties have been carried 4 times in the last 10 years from probably less than 20% of the overall runners. So I've got no worries about that. Rafe Beckett, there's any number of jockeys that he regularly uses that he could put on it. So who's he gone for?
Colin Keane.
Colin Keane. Right, a man who's been in the top 2 in the Irish Championships every year since 2015. We'll have this year's championship sewn up by September by the look of the way he's going. And I just cannot believe he's, not just double figures, but he's 20 odd to 1.
Are you with him, Dave?
This is the new Frankie, lads. I've written about it time and time again. Colin Keane is, in my lifetime, I can't remember any flat jockey that's had the potential that he has. And a cool head, always in the right place at the right time, good from the front, gets horses settled. I just love the man.
Yeah. And again, it's a massive positive to jockey booking, obviously, because this is his first run of the season in a Group 3.
Big arse though, kills.
Put anyone on it. Big arse on the ground. By New Bay. New Bay French Derby winner, won group races on soft and
authorised mare, is it?
Yeah, it's an authorised mare, but New Bay won group races on soft and heavy ground in France. He ran his first 2 races, got beat on good to firm ground. All his other races were on good. He could relish it.
Yeah.
I think he's massive. Massive.
He beat one ruler, of course, didn't he? Up at Doncaster last year.
Really, really good form.
Yeah. So it's a battle of the big odd calls then in the Jersey. I'm hoping Nando turns up, spices it up and roasts New Mandate. 340 following on from the Jersey Stakes is the Group 2 Hardhicke. What a race this looks to be this year. Sometimes it can cut up, sometimes we've got a Class A and a Shorty. Before we go to Pat Cooney and get a market update, the market so far, well, this will be one of their big hopes of the week, Dave. It's Broome. Are you a fan?
Yeah, I think you have to be a fan. I think he's a very good horse. I don't think he's exceptional. He does what he says on the tin. He's won his Group 2s, he's won his Group 3s and listed races. He almost won a Group 1 last time at the Curragh Tattersalls Gold Cup. But look, it was a poor Group 1. I was delighted for Noel Meade that Helvick Dream won it. But in terms of quality, it certainly wasn't anything to write home about. He will run his race and he has got a cracking chance. And you couldn't put anybody off. If somebody came up to you and said they fancy Broome, he's one of these horses that you cannot possibly say has no chance. He will relish to step up and trip, and he might well be good enough.
Who's the DJ tip then?
It's Hookham. It's Hookham. Just to me, I just think he's the one horse that I would say this is his big day. This is the one. This is the one race that Owen Burrows, I'd say, said all season that we can win this race. We can win the Hardhicke at Royal Ascot. A lot of things in his favour. He's obviously a course winner. He was very good at the meeting last year, albeit in a handicap. Didn't quite get home after travelling really well in the St. Leger, I thought. And this season, it just seems to be a gradual process towards the Hardhicke to me. I thought last time at Goodwood, loved the way he travelled, got the job done. Wasn't flashy, was more workmanlike than wonderful. But to me, he's the one who I think this is his day. I'm not quite sure about the rest. There's so many horses in here. There's that many cliff horses in here. We could have the whole coastline of a country, to be honest with you. Mogul, Tiger Moth, Japan, Deja for some people, Bangkok, Lord Holy God. This is a notebook of cliff horses. But to me, Hookham is the one who we haven't had to make excuses for too many times, and for that reason I'm with Hookham.
That's a great line, Dave. And there's the bungee again. Listen out there, let us know who your cliff horse is in this. Get your comments in below before we go to Keels and myself to see what we make of the race then. Pat Cooney, I don't think there'll be much in the market between Broome and Hookham, do you?
No, not really. I think with Broome, you look at him, he looks much improved over 10 furlongs this year. Of course, he very nearly won the Epsom Derby. And he was tried over 2 miles last October when he came over to Ascot. So I don't know, maybe the step up to 12 furlongs is going to suit him more. He's a really, really good Group 2 horse, isn't he? But whether that merits him being favourite and winner of this race, I'm not too sure. Chance, yes. Opposable, definitely. My eyes drawn to Wonderful Tonight, David Manusia's mare. She was ultra impressive when she won over the course and distance last year. She may have had some sort of a chance in the Arc de Triomphe if she'd have run in it. So she's a progressive type. The stable are going well. It's a first run this year. At her price, I can make a case out for her. I'd like to have had a recent run, but you can't have everything in life at these sort of prices. I'd rather be in the sort of Wonderful Tonight price bracket than the Broome price bracket at the moment. So I'll take Wonderful Tonight for David Manusier here.
Oh, Kills, are you feeling wonderful tonight? I've got a feeling you might be.
Oh, what a race. What a race this is. Remember the days when 6 horses used to turn up and there'd be a 2-on shot? Like 15 runners, and what an incredible race it is. I've gone round and round in circles. My shortlist came down to Wonderful Tonight, Albaflora and Illarab. And I still don't know. I'm going to put those 3 in forecast anyway. Now, Wonderful Night, we know all about. Pat just said that. I mean, she's just cracking, right? Albaflora, kick out her Coronation Cup run, she's half the price. Because she absolutely bolted up, went scooting clear at Ascot.
Very impressive.
2 starts ago.
Form worked out really well.
Form worked out really well. You've got to play her. At the prices, I prefer her. And Illarab's the big coming force, isn't he? He was going to run, he was supposed to run a listed race at York last week. Ground was rock hard. They've said all along, he hits the ground hard, this horse. He's going to need a bit of cut. He gets a bit of cut. He won it was only a handicap last time, but he was given £3 to Raymond Tusk, who is gradually being teased back to form by Alan King, and was rated, he'd been, I think he was rated 111 when beaten only 2 lengths in an Ebor. And I just think Illarab's going to be a massive player as well. I'm going to, I can't back, well, I probably can back 3, but I don't know. I'm choosing 2, yeah, I will. The Kealy scattergun will be out. I will go Illarab and Albaflora because she's the biggest price.
With Wonderful Tonight hovering around.
A little stake save.
I would love it if Wonderful Tonight won for David Manusier, but I think she's definitely a filly, with another big prize in her this year. First time out in this deep field. Illarab caught my eye, but at the price, you remember that Mr. Haggis told him he thought it might be best going left-handed as well. That's going to be interesting tomorrow. We shall find out. He's rolling the dice a little bit. A reminder of when we had William on the show, and he gave us a really good insight into Illarab, and they were still teetering with going for the E-ball.
I'll have to look into that.
That was a winner.
I'll have to look into that. I might change my mind and jump ship again.
Well, we've got your 3, and if it hadn't been for Albaflora running the Combination Cup, I'm with you. I think she would be a massive gambler this. I just wonder how hard a race she had there. And I'm going to go with the best piece of form in the race this year for sure, and that's Sir Ron Priestley, who didn't get home in the Lonsdale Cup last time, having looked to have them all cold at the 2 furlong pole. Spanish Mission didn't harm that form in the Gold Cup. Ground is the issue with him.
Did he not run a stinker here 2 years ago?
But we can take... He did, but I think he's peaking this year, and it's Braveheart, and I think he's going to have another one here. I really do. But I agree, Kills. I'll be hoping it dries out for Sir Ron Priestley. But I can see him bouncing back. That is the Hardwick. What a race. 4:20 on Saturday. Let's get another Group 1 in, shall we? Why not? It's the Diamond Jubilee. Pat Cooney, before we go and get Dave Jennings' good thing of the week, potentially, let's see where Starman is in the market. Everyone wants to be with this chap, don't they?
At the moment and during the week, yes. And after his reappearance when he beat Nahar, who was a little bit unlucky, we all had him penciled in as the most probable winner of the Diamond Jubilee. He's had 1 run at Ascot though, and he fluffed his lines at the start. He was well beaten. Maybe he could be one of those at Ascot. May not be his cup of tea. Testing ground may be against him, but he is the new kid on the block. He's only a 4-year-old. Take out the Ascot run. He looks very excited. Slight caveat about the Ascot. Does he like it or not? I could see him being easy to back in the market. I think other people are going to look at that Nahar run, say, well, hang on, Nahar was just a little bit unlucky in that race against him. So I can see him being popular but drifting. The solid horse, though, is Dreamer Dreams. He's hit the crossbar in this race in the last 2 years. And ironically, as a 7-year-old, he seems to be getting better. So maybe he deserves to win the race. But I think Starman, in terms of talent, is the best horse in the race. Just a few question marks about him, though. So this race doesn't tend to go to an outsider. So maybe you just look at the front 3 in the market and stick with them. But I can see why Dreamer Dreams is going to be popular, though. He might just go off favourite, I think.
You are not alone, in the words of the late Michael Jackson, because Dave Jennings, this is the big hope, right?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing having your banker of the entire week as whatever the 3rd or 4th last race on the Saturday, because you're waiting all week for it. But then, if you're tipping losers all week to friends, you can go, well, hold on a second, just wait until Saturday. That's my banker. So you kind of have a little bit to fall back on. But to me, Dream of Dreams, he posted an RPR of 120 in the race last year. He posted an RPR of 121 in the race the year before. All he has to do is run at or almost at, I think, to win. And the funny thing is, the Diamond Jubilee is 6 furlongs. If it was 6 furlongs and 5 yards, he would be going for 3 wins in the race in a row. Like the performance against Blue Point, we all know Blue Point was winning for the second time that week. Brilliant performance. Last year, again, just a stride too late. I'm not convinced. Like Stark, obviously, if there's an absolute superstar sprinter in the race, it's Starman. We all know that. If there is one, it's Starman. But I think there is more of a chance of Dream of Dreams repeating his performance in the race for the last 2 years on ground that is no problem to him whatsoever. You know, some of his best performances have been with cut on the ground. And there's more of a chance of Dream of Dreams repeating his performance in the race for the last 2 years than there is of Starman being a superstar, I think. Being an absolute, when I mean a superstar, being able to run to 123, I think Dream of Dreams is. And it's a strange one for me. I'm not usually the one that goes for the solid option. I'm the one who takes the chance on the young horse coming forward. But this just seems really straightforward. And Dream of Dreams, big field, soft ground, Ascot, 6 furlongs, trained for the race. Everything is in his favour to me.
Yeah, I echo everything about that, Dave. I was at Windsor when he made his comeback. That was when racing crowds resumed on May the 17th. He lit up a gloomy night, albeit in a race he had to win. That was bad ground as well. I just think Dave's absolutely right. He's a solid play for me. Glenn Shield is drawn right next door. Don't discount him, by the way. Thought that run, in Ireland was not at all bad for a first run back. But he probably will be the pace angle. He's right next door. Just get on his coattail and you can reverse that Champions Day form for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Glenn Shield's really tough, though, isn't he? I certainly wouldn't rule him out. I agree, largely with what Dave said. I think Dream of Dreams is the most likely winner. I thought Nahar would beat Starman. I'm worried about the ground for him. I don't know whether he wants it that deep.
They don't seem to know what he wants.
He hasn't been. He hasn't been on it. But I think just looking at the prices, I think there's one that is worth another go, and that is Happy Power. He only went off at 17-2 last year for the Champion Sprint after gagging up in the Challenge Stakes at Newmarket. And that was only 8 days later. He may well have left that race behind. He needs to show that he's a sprinter. I mean, he's been run twice over a mile this year behind Palace Pier. He actually did best of those who raced prominently in the Lockinge because they went too fast there. So dropping the trip is the right thing. Whether he's a true 6 furlong horse, I don't know. And I certainly don't want to see him make the run in and get involved. I want to see him being given a chance to settle into a race. But he loves soft ground.
He is very interesting, Kills, because of the soft ground.
Yeah.
He was probably a bit over the top on Champions Day, wasn't he? After
was.
peaking.
It was the 7th run of the season. It was 8 days after the Challenge Stakes, which is a career best.
It's a 6.5, 7 furlong horse, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd give him that. Whether he can handle the 6 furlongs, I don't know. But at the price he is, I'm definitely backing him.
There's another power in there, of course. Art Power comes back. A lot of people, last year's handicap winner, of course, as a 3-year-old. SDS goes for him, so Jim Crowley on. That is the Diamond Jubilee. It's a sparkling edition, even if there might not be a star. Let's get some naps then, shall we, from the panel. I'm going to go first if you don't mind. Wait till the last race, the longest race of the entire week. 6:10. It's always been late this week, isn't it? Staghorn, Holly Doyle, knock it out the park. Gonna love the ground.
Stole my thunder. I'll go for something else then. No, you're absolutely right. Last 2 times he's won on soft every ground. He's won by 10 lengths and 9 lengths, and they were 2 mile and 2 mile, 2
Big
furlong.
chance, isn't it?
Massive chance. The race before, Pythagoras, 5:35, 16 to 1 across the board. Will be 8 by close of play tonight. Bang the wrong price, definitely a soft ground horse. Pull too hard, early stages at the back at York, in the Dante of all races. Quickened up to go through half the field, halfway down the straight, and then just got tired. He was going to run in a Group 3 earlier in the week, pulled out because of the ground. It's all coming in his favour. He's running, they think he's a group horse. He's running a handicap of 101, I think. Yeah. As his conditions. Wins.
Richard Fahey already on the score sheet. These big festivals, something to be said about double entries, isn't there? Dave Jennings, a nap, please.
I was just going to say the 2 sides of Paul's argument there doesn't add up to the 3rd side. No, that's terrible. My nap is the Dream of Dreams in the Diamond Jubilee, just for all the reasons I've rabbited on about there. But just one I like on Friday in the Duke of Edinburgh that we haven't spoken about. Johnny Murtagh, who's been on ITV all week, runs Moran. And if ever a horse was crying out for rain and a mile and a half, this is it. Everything is in his favour. I think this is a well-handicapped horse off 102. I think he could be a stakes player. Moran in the 5:35 was 12-1. He'll go off much shorter.
Love that, Dave. I need to take a closer look at him. Pat Cooney?
Yeah, the Wokenham for me. I'm going to be big and brave in this race. I'm going for Chief of Chiefs. And I've got a T-shirt that says unlucky in running. I'll probably be wearing that for this horse again today. He was desperately unlucky last time at Ascot, but he won the Silver Wokenham a year ago. He spent most of his life being a desperately unlucky loser, but he's got Jamie Spencer up, 6 furlongs, Ascot, hold up. Fingers crossed he gets daylight in the last furlong, which he hasn't done lately. This is going to be one of these Jamie Spencers. Wow, what a ride that was, hopefully.
All right, in the Wokingham. Absolutely love that. There is your weekend 4-timer. Well, that's all we've got time for here on this week's What a Shout. It's been an absolute pleasure. We're rocking and rolling. Paul Kealy.
Been a long week, hasn't it? Day off tomorrow.
You've got the adrenaline though, man, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. I don't sleep during these big festivals, and I shall be a zombie on Sunday. But day off tomorrow, in the pub, just going to kick back and relax.
Hope you keep knocking them in, Keels. GJ, thanks for joining us, man.
Pleasure, Dave. Enjoyed it. Good to be back. Hopefully I'll be over there with you next year.
That's the dream, isn't it? Like the dream of dreams, that is. Pat Cooney, thanks once so ever from our sponsors, Bet365.
It's been a pleasure. And isn't it great to have 7 races every day at Royal Ascot? Not 8, please, though. 7 is just about perfect for me.
Unless you're covering them in the studio, of course, Pat. It's a long old week, let me tell you. Absolutely great stuff. Great to have you watching. Thanks once again. Hasn't it been an enjoyable morning here on What a Shout on the afternoon, or indeed the evening going into Saturday, wherever you are? The best of luck. Don't forget to gamble responsibly. There's so much still coming up, isn't there, over the weekend? Don't have to play it in every single race. Don't forget to download the free must-have Racing Post app. You can do that on the Google Play Store or the App Store itself. And once again this weekend, it's raining, but enjoy that sport.